Welcome to the MGL tutorials, friends. Today we are going to do our first Angular application project, Hello World application. We are going to start from the scratch, like we are going to install first of all Angular in my system, and then we will create one Hello World application. Okay, so to install or create any Angular application, you need a prerequisite, some setup on your system. So first of all, you need a node.js, and secondly you need a Angular CLI. So now I'm going to install a node on my system. I'm going to use the brew command, brew install node. There are 4 to 5 ways actually to install node. You can either install it using the brew command, as I am doing, like the brew install node, or you can use it from the official website of the node.js, that is this one, like https node.js.org. And in download option, if you go, you will find Windows installer, Mac OS installer, and the third way, that is a source code, using source code. So, and based on your operating system, 32-bit or 64-bit, you can install whichever package you want to. Then there is another way, using npm command as well, like npm command using same as like the brew install, you will have a npm install node, and that way as well you can install the node. So if you see, my node is already installed. I will just see whether it is installed successfully or not. For that, I will just run this node-v command, which will give me which version of node it has installed. So if you see here, it is 19.6.1, which is the latest version. But if you have a requirement, right, you want to install specific version of node, so in same command, brew install node at the rate, you just give whichever version you want to install. Suppose 18.1 is your version, so you can give command like brew install node at the rate 18.1. so that way it will install that specific version of node on your system. So node-v is the command to check. Even there is a node double dash version. If you give that way, this will also give you the version of the node it is installed. Now as my node is installed, now I have to install Angular CLI. Now to install Angular CLI, I'm gonna use the npm. Npm is the node package manager. So is this sudo npm -g. So I want to make it globally so that any application within my system can access it. So sudo npm -g @Angular CLI. So this is going to be my command, npm install, right? I have to install it. So this is going to be my final command when I want to install my Angular CLI. I will just say enter. It will install my Angular CLR on my machine. Again, I am not giving any version here, so it will use the latest version of Angular, so which is, I think currently it is 15.1.1, so it will install that one. If you want again specific version, same thing, sudo npm install -g Angular CLI, give at the rate whichever version you want to install. So this seems to be install my Angular as well. Now with the Angular as well, if I want to see whether it's installed or not, I will use the version command. For Angular, it is ng space v is the command, right? So it is giving me this Angular CLI version is 15.1.6 and my node is 19.6.1, which is installed. Another way I can have is, I can just say version. That also give me the same output. So if you see here, it is mentioning about which version it is used. Now our setup is ready. Now we will create our first application in Angular. Okay, so to create a first application, what I will use this ng command as well, ng new, and hello world is my application name, so I will give ng new hello world. Okay, so Angular application, it will ask me for whether you want to like to add routing. Yes, I would like to add a routing. It is asking me which style sheet format would you like to use. So there is a CSS and SCSS. I will use SCSS. Now it is creating my hello world application. So basically when we talk about Angular application, it is consist of mainly 3 component. First one is the component class. As you all know, right, Angular is a development framework and it is built on the TypeScript. Okay, so my first component class is basically, it is handling my data and functionality. Okay, and it is nothing but a TypeScript class only. Then we have a HTML template, which is actually determines your UI, like your UI, how it will look, right? The all HTML code going to be there. And then my component specific tiles. So that is something which we just selected, right? SCSS. Earlier it was used to be only CSS. Now it has SCSS, and which defines your look and feel of application. If you see, the package are completely installed successfully, and it has created all this bundle for my application just using a single command, that is ng create, right? So if you see this side, right, in a hello world under, you will find all the code is already there. So everything as a boilerplate part is taken care by this Angular framework. That's why we call it as an Angular framework. We just have to worry only about what we want to look into the HTML, like your UI, any specific styling. If you want to do, you can do using this SCSS file, and here it would be the data functionality TS file. And this spec TS is nothing but your testing. So if you want to test your component, that is the capability of Angular, right? You can test everything whatever you do. Now I'm using the ngserve -o command. -o, I'm basically doing it for, it will open itself in browser, whichever default browser in your application. Service will actually build and even serve me. So I will just enter this. Okay, so yeah, it is asking me to go to that project, right, where it is. So it was inside this. So I will just go here and fire this command again, ngserve -o. Now it will create a bundle package for my browser. So if we see, it is mentioning generating browser application bundle. Okay, and it will actually create the HTML, and now it will open the browser as well in a default port called as a 4200. If this port is already used, it will ask you whether you want to use a different port. Now if you see, this is something, a default code which is generated, right? I will just change in my HTML to make it simplified. This is my hello world application. So I will simply remove everything. I don't want anything from this. I will have my own code like this. Okay, so I will just mention h2 Angular first hello world application, Control S. Once I save it, it is automatically compiled, and if I go back to the browser, it will show me this thing, right? So this is something extra gone there, so I will just remove it. So this is my first Angular application which is running successfully. So any question, any doubt, any comments, just post into the comment section. If you want a detailed description for each of these, just mention in your comments, like if you are required any detailed description around it. In next tutorial, we try to cover some more components from the Angular itself. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you.